Advanced MS Excel 2016. So we'll start this session by understanding custom and conditional formatting, and then we'll go through advanced functions and formulas. Once you understand these two topics, we'll go through advanced data tools and data analysis, and finally end this session with introduction to macros. So today we have a special guest, Trisha, who's going to take this session forward. So over to you, Trisha.
Hi, my name is Trisha Jagtiani, and we are going to do the advanced module for 2016 Excel version. So what's new in 2016? New charts like waterfall, Pareto, whiskers, features like tell me, smart lookup, enhanced pivot table where you have multi-selection options for slicers, search functions and a pivot field list, and many more such functions have been added to 2016 Excel. So let's start with the important for MS Excel. The first is the sum function. Then enter the equal to sign followed by the function name and the open brackets. So let's see in our example. Let's say I need a total salary paid to all the employees in the organization. So I have the employee list and their salary detail. So how do I start is I need this information in cell J2. So to get started, I will have to enter an equal to sign in cell J2 followed by the sum function and then open the parenthesis or the bracket. Next, we'll enter the range which we need to total. In our case, it is a salary column, which is H to H. So I select the H to H column, close the bracket and press enter. It gives me the total salary paid by the organization to all its employees, which is 15,53,825 rupees. You must have noticed that I selected the full column H and not just the range 1 to H101. Why did I do that? I did this in order to make our range dynamic. Because if in future there is any addition to the employee data, the sum function will automatically incorporate the new data entered. Say we have a new employee, all right? So I enter the name of the employee here and I enter the employee salary just for our example as 50,000 rupees. Once I enter the employee salary in the new column, what happens is you will see that the total salary that we had calculated in column J2 has automatically changed and it is now adding that 50,000 rupees that we have added to the new column. Let's understand an important concept in Excel which you need to remember before I get to the next formula. For any formula or function to work, we need to ensure that we provide correct input to Excel in order for it to provide you an output. Having said that, there are only 4 things that an Excel will understand. Now, what are those 4 things that Excel understands? They are its inbuilt function or formulas, which are the sum, average, min, max. The another one is the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 12 to 1000 that is showing on the screen. Third one is the true or false. And the fourth one is its cell references. When I say cell references, what does that mean? The references that we give to the cell in order to get any output of an answer like this one, this cell references. Or when I was doing the sum function also, I gave that H to H as my cell reference. Other than the above, all the data need to be entered in the double quotes. So when I say all the data to be entered in the double quotes, if I want to give any information to Excel other than these 4 things which I have mentioned here, I will have to put it in the double quotes like this. Anything that I'm putting other than the build function numbers, true or false or cell references, I'll put something like this. So we will explore this in detail in the next function, which is the SUMIF function. The SUMIF function sums a range based on the single condition or the criteria. So let's explore the function with the example on my sheet. In order to start with this function, first we need to understand the term syntax. To understand any function for that matter, we will have to understand what is syntax. Every function in Excel has a syntax. Syntax plays a pivotal role in using a function. As soon as you type equal to sign followed by a function name and open the bracket after the function name, it will give you a list of arguments, which are these arguments, or it can also be called as an input that Excel requires in order for it to give you an output. So if you see when I open the SUMIF function, for the SUMIF function, the inputs required are range, criteria, and the sum range. Now taking the same example as used for the sum function, let's say we need to find the total salaries paid to the employees in the South region. So if you can see our list, we have this list of employees. I just need to find all the people working in the South region. So the column that carries the South region is column E. That is required by the SUMIF function is the range. So let's start with the SUMIF function. The range that I have to enter here is the criteria range. what does the criteria range means? The range where your criteria sits, that is in column E. So I will select column E to E. Now again, if you see, I'm selecting the whole column because in future, if there is a addition to the data, addition to the employee list, it will automatically catch here as well. First range that I selected is the employee range. Next one is the criteria. Where is the criteria that we are looking for, which is the South region, correct? So I'll enter South as my criteria. If you have noticed, I entered the South in the double quotes. Looking at the previous example or looking at the previous data that I told you, it's inbuilt formulas, functions, or numbers. True or false, it's cell references. The criteria that we have, which is the South, does not fulfill any of these four conditions, and hence I will have to put it in the inverted commas or the quotes. Once I do that, the next thing that I have to enter is the sum range. Now, what is the sum range? The first thing that you selected was the criteria range because your criteria sits in that. Next was the criteria because the criteria is your South. Third one is the sum range because you're not going to sum the region, but you're trying to get the total salaries paid to the employees in the South region. We will have to select the sum range as salary, which is our H to H column. Close the bracket and press enter. Now what do we get here is the total salaries paid to the employees in the South region. This is only one answer that I require for the whole list, and that's the reason I have put it in this column. Let's look at another example for the same SUMIF function. We need a total salary of the employees whose salary is more than 15,000 rupees. So earlier it was like we were looking for total salary of the employees in the South region, and that's the reason the answer was 3,36,000 rupees. However, this time we are looking for the total salaries paid to the employees whose salary is more than 15,000 rupees. How do I do that? By again using the SUMIF function. Like I said, the SUMIF function actually looks at the criteria and gives you the total of that data. Now, if you would have noticed, when I start with any formula, every formula will give a syntax, like I mentioned earlier. If I open the SUMIF function, the first one is the range, the second one is the criteria, and the sum range. In the range and the criteria, there is no bracket, or it's just simply written range and the criteria. But if you see the last requirement or the last argument, it says sum range, which is in the square bracket. So you have to remember one thing, the square bracket means it is optional. When I say optional, what does that mean? That input that you're giving to Excel is not required to be given in case of an optional information. So in this example, you can give range, you can give criteria. And if you don't give a sum range, Excel will consider the criteria range as your sum range. So the sum range becomes an optional requirement. In our case, the first case, we had to give the sum range because we were giving region as our criteria range and it does not have a numeric value. The sum can only be done in a numeric values. Hence, we had to give a sum range, which was our salary. But in our second example, where we need a total salary of the employees earning more than 15,000, there I will not give the sum range. So the first requirement, which is our criteria range, which is the column H to H, because that's where the salary is. Now, what is our requirement as a criteria? Our requirement as a criteria is more than 15,000. Again, it's not only a number, it is not its function, it is not true or false, or it is not a cell reference. So we will have to put it in the double quotes. When I put double quotes, I put a more than sign, 15,000 rupees, which is the criteria. Close the double quotes. And this time, like I said, I'm not going to give the sum range, and Excel will consider criteria range, which is the first range by default, as the sum range. When I press an enter, it will give me the total salaries earned by employees earning salary more than 15,000 rupees. Hope this clarifies how to use the SUMIF function. Just to summarize, SUMIF function will give you the total of any cell reference or cell range where a criteria is met. Okay. Let's see what is the next formula or function that we have on our list, which is the SUMIF function. What is a SUMIF's function? Again, just like the sum function, SUMIF's function is the function to sum cells that meet multiple criterias. So, like I said, in the SUMIF function, we only had one criteria, wherein I was looking in the first example, I was looking at all the total salaries earned by the employees in the South region. However, in this case, I am looking at multiple criteria. So we are looking at the second example here. Find the total salaries paid to the employees in the sales department in South region earning salaries more than 10,000 rupees. So now if we see here, we have three criterias. let's go back to our document where I can write down my 3 criterias. What is my 3 criterias? So let's look at the criteria 1. Let's put a small table so we can just put it down in that table. So to start with, I have criteria 1, criteria 2, and then the criteria 3. So let's look at what are those 3 criteria. The first one that we are looking at now is salaries paid to the employees in the sales department. So our first criteria becomes department as sales. Yeah. The second criteria that we have here is the south region. So the second criteria becomes region as south. And the third criteria that I have now here is salary is more than 10,000. So I just put the greater than sign. Okay, so that becomes our 3 criteria. As I have 3 criteria, SUMIF function will not work because SUMIF function is only used to get outputs for single criteria. So we will be using the SUMIFs function. The input required for the SUMIFs function are, the first thing that it requires is the sum range, which in our case is the salary. So why is this salary? Because we are looking at the total salary of the employees. So the first sum range becomes our salary. So it will total the salary. Next is the criteria range 1. First criteria is department as sales. And here the question that they are asking for, or the input that they are asking for, is criteria range 1. So if our criteria is sales as the first one, our range will be the place or the cells or the range of cells where the criteria sits. Where does our criteria sits? That's in the D department, which is the department. So I'll select D to D as my criteria range 1. We are going to put this in the double quotes. Now comes your criteria range 2. What is our criteria range 2? The criteria range 2 is our region. Where does the region sit? It is the E column. So I will select E to E as my criteria range 2. Then comes the criteria 2. When I say region as my criteria range, what is my criteria? Criteria is south. So I will have to enter that again in the inverted commas, south. These information that you're putting in the double quotes, they are not case sensitive. Even if you see sales here with S capital and all small, you can still put sales in all small letters. Okay, going back to our formula, once I have entered E to E as south, then comes the criteria range 3. Do we have a criteria range 3? Yes, we do. What is our criteria range 3? The criteria range 3 is salary. Why? Because our criteria 3 is salary more than 10,000 rupees. So I will select our criteria range 3 as salary, comma, what is my criteria 3? More than 10,000 rupees. So how will I put that? I will have to put that in the double quotes, more than 10,000. Close the double quotes, close our bracket, enter, you'll get the total salary as 55,825 rupees. This is the total salary paid to the employees in the sales department working for the South region, and if they are earning salary more than 10,000 rupees. Moving on to the next one, which is our count function. The count function, as the name suggests, provides the count of the cells containing numeric value. So going back to my sheet as an example, where I have the list of employees data, there is only one range that contains numeric value, which is the salary column. Hence, I'll perform the count function for the column H. How will I do that? To start with, I'll again have to start with an equal to sign, followed by the function name, which is in our case count, and I will select the column H. Close the parenthesis or the bracket, press enter. It will give me an answer 101 because that's the total number of cells that contains the numeric value. Next comes our count A function. While count function counts the cells containing numeric data, count A function counts the number of cells containing numbers as well as text or characters. So when I say this, using our example, this time I will use region column to count the number of employees. Why do I do that? In the first example, we use the salary column because the count function will only count numbers. This time I'm going to use a region column in order to identify how many cells or how many employees are working in the organization. So to start with, again, I will do count A function. Count A function counts numbers as well as text or characters. Characters can be any character like double quotes, or a space can also be considered as a character. Count A function, this time I'll not take salary. It will count the numbers, but we want to show you how it works with the alphabets as well. So I go back to my region column. I close the bracket, enter. it shows me 102 as an answer. Why does it show me 102 while the first one showed me 101? The reason being, count will only count the number of cells containing numbers. In this case, our number of cells that contain numbers is 101. However, if I'm looking at the region column, it also has the heading named as region. So that is the text. So if I start with region and go till the end, it is the total number of cells that contains the characters is 102. So in this case, how do you avoid getting a wrong answer? It's not a wrong answer. It's just that in case if somebody are asking you to get the total employees working in the organization, you will use the count a function because you don't have any numeric value. In that case, we will still use the count a function, get the information. After that, you know that the heading is also counted as in this function. So we will always get used to putting -1 at the end of the formula. So for example, count A, E to E, which is this column. Once you get an answer, you just do -1. This is just a trick to get your correct answer. It's nothing to do with the formula. Formula will count your first heading as well. There is another thing that I would want to show in the count a function is because I told you it will count the numbers as well as text or the character. In our example, we also have another data where we have numbers as well as alphanumeric character. So in this case, these are alphanumeric data is also considered as a text because it starts with an A, it has alphabets in it, so it is considered as a text. And these are all numbers. So just to see whether a COUNTA function works with the numbers and characters, we will do a COUNTA function again and open the parenthesis. This time we will use the employee code as our count range, which is A to A. Close the bracket, press enter. Again, it will give me 102. Why? Again, the same reason, because it is taking the heading also in the count. So again, we'll just have to do a -1 to get the correct answer. So just remember this, why we are going to do the -1 is when the count a function also counts the heading, and we don't want that heading to be counted. We will use -1 to get your answer. Moving to the next one, which is the COUNTIF function. COUNTIF function counts the number of cells in the cell range that meet a particular condition. Unlike count function, COUNTIF can be used to count cells with dates, numbers, and text that matches specific criteria. So like we learned sum function and the SUMIF function, same is the count and the COUNTIF function. So the COUNTIF function counts all the cells which contains numbers and the characters or the text. The COUNTIF function counts numbers, characters, text, everything only if a particular condition is met. So going back to our example, in our example of employee data, we have to identify number of employees working in the admin department. So here is the admin department. Excel needs two inputs for the COUNTIF function as per the syntax. So let's look at that. So how do I start as COUNTIF function? These are the two syntaxes that it gives. The first syntax is the range. Again, like the SUMIF function, the first range is the criteria range. In this case, there is no such thing as count range. Like in SUMIF function, we had sum range. In COUNTIF function, we don't have a count range. Why? Because it can count numbers, text, and characters. So the first one is our count range. What is our condition here? Our condition is that the department should be admin. So my first criteria range will be department. And what will be my criteria? The criteria will be admin. So I'll put admin. Again, as I told you earlier, these are not case sensitive. So you can put admin in small letters and double quotes. Close the bracket, enter. The total employees working in the admin department are 11. Okay. Just to cross verify, we go and do a filter, identify how many employees are there in the admin department. I filter by admin. I select the whole data. Now only the admin department, if I select, it is showing me as 11. If I select the whole cell, it will give me that heading also and it's giving me 12. So rather than that, I'll only select this cells which has the data. So it is 11 in number. Moving on to the next function, which is a COUNTIFs function. Like we learned the SUMIFs function, we also have COUNTIFs function. How does a COUNTIFs function work? As SUMIFs is used to sum a range that fulfills multiple conditions, COUNTIFs is used to count number of cell ranges that meets multiple conditions. For example, the question here is to identify number of employees working in marketing department earning salary more than 15,000 rupees. Now, there are two conditions that needs to be fulfilled in order to get the count. What are those two conditions? insert a new table because we have a condition here. Okay, so our conditions are what? What is our criteria range and the criteria? Let's go back first and understand what is its syntax. So I open it, I get the first syntax is the criteria range 1 and the criteria 1. So let's put it that way, criteria 1 and criteria 2. We have only two criterias this time. We don't have more than that. So what is our first criteria? Our first criteria is that we want the employees working in the marketing department. So department as marketing. Now we are putting here as marketing. However, when you are entering the data in the formula, you will have to be careful that you cannot put marketing as a full spelling because the spelling in our cell or in our database is MKTG. Department as marketing, and what is our second condition? Salary more than 15,000 rupees. So I'll put it here as salary more than 15,000. So these are two conditions. Going back to our formula is equal to countifs, open the bracket. What is our criteria range 1? First one is the department marketing. So I'll select department, which is D2D cell, comma, what is my criteria 1? It is marketing. Like I said, I cannot enter marketing as MARKETING because if I enter that, Excel will not be able to find this condition in the department. Nowhere is the spelling as MARKETING. So to avoid these kind of issues, you will have to check what is given on the database. So in our database, it is MKTG. I put that MKTG in double quotes. Go to the next one, which is criteria range 2. In our case, criteria range 2 is salary, which is the H2H column. So I select H2H, comma, then I give criteria 2, which is 15,000 rupees. So I'll have to put that in the double quotes as more than 15,000. Close the double quotes, close the parenthesis, enter key. It will give me the total number of employees working in the marketing department with salary more than 15,000 rupees as the result as 9. Moving on to the next function, which is the average function. Average function returns the average of arguments which can be numbers or names, arrays or references that contains numbers, which means average like count only gives the average of cells that contains numbers. Again, with the same example used for the sum, we will identify the average of the total salary paid to the employees in the organization. So the sum was 2,53,825. After adding that new salary information, we will also now look at what is the average salary paid to the employees. So to start with, we will start with an equal to sign, enter the average function name, open parenthesis, enter the salary data, which is in our case is H column, close the parenthesis and press enter. So our total salary or the average salary paid to the employees in the organization is 20,334 rupees or 35 as it is 0.90. Now, in this case, it will only count the numbers, but also there is another function known as the count A function. Like count A, Excel also has average A function, which will give an average of cells containing numbers as well as text or characters or both. How is the average calculated if no numbers are available? To calculate the average, Excel adds the numeric value of each value together and divides the total number of values specified. Average A evaluates true as 1 and false as 0. So when I say true as 1 and false as 0, that means if there is any data available in a cell, it will calculate that as 1. However, if there is no data available in a cell, it will calculate that as 0. So it will not add up and it will not divide it. So we have a very good example, which is the employee code data. If I'm just trying to get an average of this salary information, I will just get the same answer even if I do as average A. However, if I do average A with the employee data where I have the text as well as the numbers, it will calculate the numbers which I have with just add all the numbers plus where I have the text, it will take it as true. Each text will be taken as 1, and if there is any blank space, it will take that as 0. For example, from here it will take it as 0. So if I do average A, say I'm doing average A in the next column just below the average, open the parenthesis, I select A to A as the column, close the bracket and press enter. It will give me 6,345.87 as my average. Now for say example, if I delete one of the data, what happens is it changes from 6,300 to 6,400. If you see the difference, 6,300 and 6,400. Why does this happen is because as soon as I delete the data from here, this information is being considered as false, and so this becomes 0. So once it becomes 0, it automatically picks up as a 0 information. It doesn't calculate that, and it does not divide that number by the number of values. Okay, so what is the total that numbers that I have is 101, so it will divide that by 101. So that's how the average A function works. Next is our average if function. Just like average sum if and countif functions, average if returns the average of selected arguments specified by a given criteria. So in SUMIF, it will sum the data if the conditions are fulfilled. In COUNTIF, it will count the data if the conditions are fulfilled. Same in average if, it will average the total data if the condition is fulfilled. So let's go to our example. Here, in our example, it says find the average salary paid to the employees in the south region. So there is only one condition that I have this time. To start with an average if function, or to understand its syntax, I'll put average if, open the bracket. It will give me three arguments. One is the range, second one is the criteria, and third one is the average range. If you remember SUMIF function, it is exactly the same as the SUMIF function, except in the last argument, it says average range, while in SUMIF, it said average sum. So that's the only difference that you see in the sum range and the average range. So to start with, the first range is our criteria range. What is our criteria here? Employees in the south region. Where does the region sit? In the E to E column. Select E to E as our criteria range. What is the criteria that we are looking at? South. So we will put south in the double quotes, again comma, and then the average range. In this case, we are going to average the salary data because we are looking at the average salary paid to the employees in the south region. So I'll select H to H as my average range because I want to average the salary. Close the bracket, enter. It will give me the average of the salary of the employees in the south region. Okay. Moving on to the next function in our list is the round function. We will illustrate three functions to the round numbers in Excel. The functions are the round, round up, and round down. First, we will start with the round function. A round function will round the number to the number of decimal points specified in the formula. In our example, we have a number as 14.7261 and use the round function. I select the number I need to round. So I go to equal to round. I select the number that I want to round. Press the comma. If you see the syntax, it says the number and then it's asked me the number of digits. What is this number of digits? It is asking me how many decimal point do you want or how many decimal places do you want after the decimal point. So say for example, here in this case, there are 4 digits after the decimal point. I only want 2. So I enter 2 and close the parenthesis, enter. It will round up or it will round the number which is after the second decimal point. Just like in school we learned, when there were more than 2 decimal points, if it is more than 5, we will add one number to the previous digit. Same thing the Excel does for here. In our case, if you see properly, if you see here 114 point, it says 7261. So 726. The 6 is more than 5, that 1 will be added to 2, which becomes 114.73. And the 6 1 is removed from the list. So the answer becomes 114.73. So this is how your round function works. Just for more examples, if I had put round function and this time I select this number, comma, I just do the number of digits. Say I want to do number of digits as 1 and close the bracket, enter. It will give me 7 only. Why? Because the second number, which is 2, is not either 5 or more than 5. That's the reason the 7 is left as 7. Okay. So this is showing as 114.7. This becomes a round function. The next one is the round up function. Round up function always rounds a number up away from 0. From our example, we want round a number up to 1 decimal point. We will input the formula in cell C2 is equal to round up. Again, select the number as A1, comma, I'll just put 1, close the parenthesis and give me. Now if you see properly, in our first instance, when I put only round function is showing me as answer 114.7. Why? Because the next digit which we are talking about was the number 2. Now this number 2 is not more than 5. That's the reason it didn't add up in 7. However, round up function, what it does is it will go away from the 0. When I say away from the 0, it will not leave it as 7. It will automatically add 1 to this number because there is some digit which is after the number. So it will automatically add 1 into the previous number and give you 114.8. Next we will learn is the round down function. The round down function always rounds a number down towards 0. So this is the other way around. For example, round a number down to the nearest integer. Let's see in our example, again with the same number 114.7261. Let's round down to a to 0 decimal points. So we say round down, open parenthesis, select the number that we want to round down, comma. This time we don't want any digits or any numbers after the decimal point. So I put 0. I press enter. I get the answer as 114. Now, if you remember again going back to our school days, in normal situation, we would have done it as 114.72 as 115. Okay. However, in this case, in round down, because it is going towards the 0, that means it will not add up this number to the previous one. It will remove all the decimal points. Just like if you see another example also, I will try the round down with the 2 decimal points rather, comma, 2, close the bracket, enter. See, even if in this case, what had happened was when I did 2 decimal points, because it was more than 5, it added one number to 2 and it gave me 114.73. But if you see in this case, round down, even with the same 2 decimal points, it is not adding up the 6, even if it is more than 5. It is not adding up 1 into the previous digit, and it is giving me the same answer as 114.72. Yeah. So this is how your round down works.